Hi everyone and welcome to the Road to Indy TV. I'm JP Mantrola and with me my friend Tristan Vautier. Tristan, Indianapolis Grand Prix.
Yes, brand new road course, resurfaced, very smooth track, a lot of grip. It's going to be interesting to see which teams are fast this weekend.
Let's start by reminding everyone how we left things in Alabama Grand Prix. Let's start with the USF 2000.
USF 2000, RC Anderson still very strong, dominant. It seems like nobody is really able to give him a hard time, but we'll see what happens this weekend.
Pro Mazda, Spencer Pigot, he did it again. Winterfest dominated, he dominated again. Indy Lights.
Indy Lights, well, the rivalry is shaping up between Zach Veach and Gabi Chavez. 2 wins each. It's going to be interesting to see if the team Schmidt-Peterson Motorsport, who has been dominant in the history of the series, can catch up and give them a hard time.
Back here in Indianapolis, this is a new configuration, new track. Tell us about it.
Well, the track is going to be very smooth, more like a European style track, so it's a blank sheet for everybody. The setups they had on other track might not work here, so we might have surprises on who is going to be fast here.
Well, let's get ready for this race. Tristan, finish of the first day of racing here in Indianapolis. Wow, I'm speechless.
I'm speechless too. I mean, amazing racing all day with these changing conditions, the weather, this amazing track, really wide, with big braking zones. The racing was just exceptional.
Let's start with USF 2000. Started the race on wet.
On the wet track, they're all on rain tires except Will Owen, who put slicks on. And remember, I told you when he went out on track on 6, I said he might win the race. He won the race. The track dried up. Guys on wet tires just couldn't hold on, and the tires didn't have the grip on the dry track.
The big surprise, not seeing RC Anderson in the top positions.
Yeah, he was just not fast enough today in the race, and it's good because it's going to put some more action in the championship.
Moving up, let's go Pro Mazda.
Pro Mazda, oh, wow. Talking about action.
Yes, sir.
I think, well, tough day for Spencer, our championship leader. He was kind of a sitting duck at the start. The straight line is so long that he had like 4 or 5 drivers drafting him, and they were like 4 wide breaking into turn 1. Unfortunately, Pipo Derani spun in the grass. When he came back on track, he hit him, and then it was just a bit of a nightmare race for him. But I mean, good for us. Good for us to watch more action. And
couple of things. Spencer not being in the top position, being actually last. A lot of accidents, people with no nose, then with a flat tire. He beat back into the pit lane. It was all over the place this race.
These guys are pissed at each other. People is pissed because he says Spencer ran into him at the middle of the race when there was a yellow flag, and Spencer was kind of surprised that everybody's slowing down. But people at the same time hit him when he spun in the grass at the start and came back on track. So, you know, just racing. Scott Hargrove wins his first race of the championship, and, you know, he's going to try to give a hard time to Spencer for the title.
Absolutely. One more. Let's go to the Indy Light.
Well,
once again rain comes in, full wet tires, and then it starts drying out, and a lot of action in the track.
Exactly, we're celebrating for the Pro Mazda podium when the rain comes in, and these guys all start on wet tires, of course, and you see a lot of differences between teams. All of a sudden, the guys who were very fast on dry track are a bit slower. We saw both Bellardi cars very fast right at the start of the race, but struggled a little bit afterwards. Maybe tire pressures were not right. Schmidt-Peterson had very good cars towards the end of the race, but just not good enough to catch Matthew Brabham.
The big surprise, Matthew Brabham basically took the lead and never looked back.
Yeah, flawless performance. I mean, he drove very clean all race, no mistake. He resisted pressure really well when Luis Razia started catching him because he didn't do a single mistake and managed to hold him off.
Well, I think as a day one is pretty fantastic.
I'm starving.
I'm starving too. Why don't we go eat and get ready for tomorrow because there's a lot more action coming up.
Time for dinner, JP.
All right, let's go.
Beautiful day here in Indianapolis Grand Prix for the second day of racing. A lot of action, a lot of new things yesterday. What's gonna be today?
Well, great weather, dry track, so the racing might be a little different. The guys who were fast yesterday might not be as quick today, but it's going to be interesting to find out.
So, let's go by a little rumors and gossip that we learned over the paddock yesterday. Let's start with USF 2000.
Well, USF 2000, there was not too much controversy. It's more like all the usual contenders were at the back or are going to start at the back of the field today because they went through the whole race on wet tires and the track dried off, and all the guys that were on slick got a very fast race lap time, so they're going to start up front. The grid is going to be like shuffled, and it's going to be very interesting to see the batters of the leaders trying to charge up front.
That's right. And Pro Mazda, I heard some people not being really happy with each other.
Yeah, obviously there was a lot of hard racing, so you know when there's good racing for us, all the drivers are angry at each other usually. I know people was very upset at Spencer Pigot running into him when there was that yellow flag and he got surprised. Indy Lights as well was pretty eventful with our contenders being at the back.
Absolutely, yeah. I have some rumors saying that Gavi Chavez will be over revving the engine. That's what was the cause of the engine blowing. I mean,
it can cause it sometimes. You know, when you push very hard in qualifying, you downshift a little early, and it over revs the engine. It can cause it to break later in the race or something. That I'm not sure, but
I saw the guys trying to get a new engine on. I know it has limited time before they close the pit lane, so we'll see.
Many teams complaining because the track has a certain time at which they close, and they want the teams to get out. But the teams have to work on the cars, so they have to really hustle to get these cars ready on time before they have to leave the track. So yeah, we talked to Ricky Juncos, was really not happy about that.
Yeah, not happy, and understandable, because if some accident happened and you want to really fix the car and you don't have the time, that really puts you in a disadvantage against everybody else.
It's a shame for sure, yeah.
All right, well, let's get ready for this race, and in the meantime, why don't we just put the points on the screen so we can see how we're going in the scoreboard before we start today.
Good plan, JP.
All right, let's get ready. So Tristan, this puts the end of Indianapolis Grand Prix in another beautiful and sunny day. Let's go and start talking about the race a little bit.
Yeah, great day of racing today, dry track. I mean, USF 2000, Adrian Starantino, their big surprise. He was not up to speed at the start of the year, and today was on pole and just like had a flawless race. Florian Latour was putting pressure on, but he just held on to the end. R.C. Henderson was not strong enough when he had to fight in the middle of the field, but still a solid weekend for him, and he keeps the lead in the points.
That's fantastic. Why don't we do this? We normally have somebody else here with us, and when we do the studio pieces, and this is weird voice.
The British guy.
Exactly, the voice in the sky. But you know what? We allowed him to get out of the booth, and actually we have him here. So why don't we invite Johnny?
Hello, Johnny.
Gentlemen.
Hey, what was your mic?
Well, listen.
You bring me and you give me. I've got a small microphone.
Look, the microphone they give me, look the microphone they give to Johnny.
You gotta understand, Johnny is the expert and professional in the audio booth. He's not supposed to come out of that place. This is an exception of the rule.
It's a new experience.
How does it feel to actually be out of the dark and just walk around the paddock?
Fantastic, and seriously, what an awesome weekend of racing. I think the Speedway did such a good job with this track.
Oh, but the action in Pro Mazda, that was amazing.
I want to say that USF 2000 and Pro Mazda race ones for both series was probably the two best Road to Indy races I think I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the change of the weather, being starting in a wet track and then drying out, and the decision making of what tire to use, it adds a lot to the
shuffled everything.
Well, yeah, I think the action was great. I personally think the qualifying for USF 2000, starting on wet tires and halfway through the session, the track was bone dry and they weren't allowed to change to slicks. That to me, I think bringing the strategy into it for the drivers and the teams, I would personally like to see that to be able to happen, because
for the other races, like they did it during the race. They should allow it in qualifying.
Exactly.
Let's talk about what happened in the Indy Lights.
Yes.
We saw new people getting into the podium. We saw Schmidt-Peterson cars showing up for finally the speed out there.
Yeah, very interesting, right? Struggle for your usual winners. I mean, Gabi Chavez and Zach Vich had a bad weekend. They actually ended up running into each other on race 2 at the end of race 2. But I mean, the big step up is Schmidt. They win their first race of the season. They've been struggling, but it seems like they're figuring it out.
I thought Razier and Harvey almost looked regimented. Like they got to the front and they didn't even show a hint of giving it away. And to me, that was a real statement of intent coming into the month of May, and with the Freedom 100 at the end of the month, I think that Schmidt have put a big statement and said, we're back.
And it just shows the team ethic that Schmidt has. You know, they had these 2 cars up front, didn't lose too much time fighting each other. They were just like, we have 2 of our cars up front, we're gonna try to stay there, not fight too hard, and they worked towards their first win of the year. Just great job.
It's impressive also, Alex Baron, the rookie in Indy Lights, is keeping up the pace that we saw.
He confirms the potential he showed. Yeah, he's very, very impressive.
And what do you guys think? I think that's Racy. I think he probably, you know, Gabby had a few issues today, but Alex really stepped up to the plate for Bilotti Auto Racing.
Exactly, it's good for them to know that they don't only have one driver to do the job. So, yeah, I mean, I think the most dramatic weekend was Pro Mazda, and you know, it was a bad weekend for Spencer Pigot. Scott Hargrove was on it in the races. He was on rails today at race 2, and Spencer, you know, ended up not really finishing the race where he should have to score points.
I mean, he really struggled in both races. First race got in the back end, and then second race also again he's almost the last one.
Yeah, I think it's a tough position after having won 4 races. You know, you see Scott Hargrove so fast, and he's starting to put pressure in the championship, and you know, that's when you really have to keep your cool. I mean, Nicolas Costa did very aggressive move on Spencer, kept coming down on him. Spencer didn't give up. They just ended up tangling wheels. Race incident, but for sure it's a bad weekend for Spencer. He could have scored points and, you know, stay up there.
But like we chatted a couple of weeks ago, you know, after Barber, we were a little disappointed seeing essentially domination in USF 2000 and Pro Mazda. And I went out on a limb and said there will be challenges here in Indianapolis. And my word, I mean, USF 2000, some lottery, and Scott Hargrove just, what? I mean, on rails, and again, massive statement of intent this weekend.
Yes.
The driver who didn't have much luck this weekend was Pipo Denari in Pelfrey team. I mean, race 1, he gets into a lot of troubles, contacts here and there.
Yes.
Race 2, first lap, he's out.
He gets taken out. Yeah, the race 2 was very unfortunate for him. So yeah, one of the big losers this weekend in terms of points for sure. But yeah, what I think what's very encouraging is that we know that the racing is going to get better and better as we go throughout the year. We were waiting for that kind of weekend, and we had it here in Indianapolis. So very happy about that, and now on to oval racing, right?
Absolutely. Why don't we invite everyone to keep tuning up Road to Indy.tv, and I want to leave you guys with the scoreboard and the leaderboards after this race that changed everything moving forward.
Yes. Thanks for watching us, guys.
Cheers, guys.